silent war rages within you, not against the world, not against others, but against yourself. The battle is waged in the quiet moments of hesitation, in the shadows of self-doubt, in the whispers of fear that tell you to wait, to shrink, to stay the same. But strength, true, unwavering strength, is not given, it is built. Just as a blade is sharpened through friction, the mind is forged through resistance. The greatest enemy is not out there. It is the voice inside that tells you you're not ready, not capable, not enough. Every excuse you make, every time you hesitate, you strengthen that enemy. But every step forward, every act of discipline, every time you push beyond fear, you reclaim power. No one is coming to save you. No external validation will hand you self-belief. You don't need permission to rise. You need only the resolve to act. Because identity is not inherited, it is sculpted. And those who endure, who refuse to break, who embrace discomfort as a tool, are the ones who become unshakable. The question is, will you remain at war with yourself, or will you master the battlefield within? The choice is yours. 1. The silent battle. Overcoming self-doubt. The greatest war you will ever fight is not against the world, but against yourself. It is not waged in the public eye, but in the quiet, private moments where doubt creeps in like a whisper. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." But how often do we truly take command of that power? Doubt is insidious. It wears the disguise of logic and reason, planting thoughts like, "I'm not ready. What if I fail? Others are more talented. I don't have enough time." But these aren't truths. They are fears masquerading as facts. The reality? Self-belief is not given, it is built. And like a muscle, it grows only through resistance. Every time you push past hesitation, every time you challenge the narrative of self-doubt, you reclaim your power. The first step is simple. Question the voice in your head. When your mind tells you, "I can't," ask, "Who told me that?" Track your victories, no matter how small. Write them down. Build a case for your own success. The mind believes what it hears most often, so make sure it hears the right story. But belief alone is not enough. Action must follow. Self-doubt thrives in hesitation, in waiting for the perfect moment. But perfect moments don't exist, only decisions do. Decide to act. Speak up when you're afraid. Step forward when you'd rather retreat. Put yourself in situations where confidence is required, and watch how quickly it becomes second nature. Imagine a young musician named Alex. He has spent years practicing in private, perfecting his craft, yet every time an opportunity arises to perform in front of an audience, a familiar voice in his head tells him, "You're not ready. What if you mess up? There are others far better than you." So he hesitates. He watches as others take the stage, wondering why they seem so confident, while he remains frozen by doubt. He convinces himself that he needs more time, more preparation, always waiting for the elusive perfect moment. But then something shifts. One day he questions that voice. Who told me I'm not ready? Who decided I would fail? He realizes that his fear is not reality. It is a habit of hesitation he has nurtured for years. So, instead of waiting, he takes action. He signs up for a small performance, a local cafe open mic. He feels the nerves, the anxiety, the discomfort, but he steps onto the stage anyway. The performance isn't flawless. His hands shake at first, and he misses a note. But something incredible happens. He doesn't crumble. He keeps playing. And when the final chord rings out, the room erupts in applause. In that moment, Alex understands the truth. Confidence isn't something you wait for, it's something you earn through action. Each time he faces discomfort, he grows stronger. What was once fear now becomes fuel. He performs again and again until the stage, once his greatest enemy, becomes his second home. The lesson? The only way to silence self-doubt is to prove it wrong through action. Waiting to feel ready will keep you stuck forever. The moment you take control, you shift from hesitation to momentum, and momentum changes everything. Growth lives on the other side of discomfort. Every great thinker, athlete, and leader understands this. They don't wait to feel ready. They move, and readiness follows. They visualize success before it happens, training their minds as much as their bodies. They silence external noise, understanding that the world's doubts mean nothing compared to their own belief. So take control. Reframe every thought of failure into a possibility for greatness. Train your mind to expect success. Build an environment that nurtures your growth. Books, mentors, routines that reinforce who you are becoming. Most importantly, take action, no matter how small. Each step forward is another crack in the armor of doubt. Because in the end, the war was never against the world. It was always you versus you. And the moment you decide to win, everything changes. 2. The power of identity. Becoming the person you are meant to be. The strongest version of you is not a distant dream. It already exists within, waiting to be chosen. You don't need to fake it till you make it. Instead, be it until you become it. Success isn't about pretending. It's about aligning your actions with the identity of the person you aspire to be. Every decision, every habit, every moment, these are the building blocks of your identity. The question is, are you reinforcing the version of yourself that you admire, or are you feeding the version held back by hesitation and excuses? Epictetus said, "First say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do." Identity is not just something you declare, it is something you prove through discipline, through persistence, through the small, silent victories that no one else sees. But commitment is the challenge. It's easy to act in alignment with your goals when motivation is high, but what about the days when it isn't? Will you hold the line when no one is watching? Will you uphold your standards when comfort tempts you to lower them? The Stoics understood that identity is forged in adversity. The person who perseveres through difficulty is the person who transforms. Every setback is a test. Will you revert to old habits, or will you choose to step into the identity of someone who overcomes? This is why standards matter. The version of you that succeeds does not wait for the perfect conditions. If they are disciplined, they act with discipline. If they are courageous, they take bold action. If they are wise, they seek knowledge daily. But identity is not static, it evolves. Growth is a continuous process, and as you push forward, your definition of success will expand. What once seemed like the peak will become just another stepping stone. This is why you must never stop raising your standards. The moment you settle, you stop growing. Your identity is shaped in the moments of decision. Every action strengthens or weakens your commitment to becoming who you were meant to be. The key is alignment. Your thoughts, your habits, your discipline must match the person you see yourself becoming. If you want to be a leader, lead. If you want to be known for resilience, endure. If you want to achieve excellence, demand excellence from yourself in all that you do. This transformation doesn't happen overnight, but with relentless consistency, something incredible occurs. The gap between who you are and who you want to be disappears. You realize that you were always that person. It was simply a matter of choosing to live as them. And when you reach a new level, don't stop. Push further. Raise your standards again. Because success is not a final destination, it is a continuous evolution. Growth has no ceiling, and self-belief is an infinite resource. You just have to choose it. Your identity is shaped by your actions, and every step you take brings you closer to the person you are meant to become. So tell me, are you in the process of building your new identity, or have you already embraced it? Comment "becoming" if you're actively working toward the best version of yourself, or "unshakable" if you've already committed to living with discipline and purpose. Your journey inspires others, and your words might be exactly what someone else needs to see today. Let's grow together. 3. The art of relentless action, moving beyond hesitation. Self-belief is not something you think your way into. It is something you earn through movement. The mind hesitates, overanalyzes, finds reasons to delay. But action doesn't wait. Action builds momentum, and momentum destroys doubt. The Stoics understood this deeply. Do what is in your control, they taught, and in every moment, the one thing always within your control is action. Progress is never achieved by waiting, wishing, or hoping. It is forged, step by step, choice by choice. No matter how small the step, it counts. A single page written, a single push-up done, a single difficult conversation faced, these are the quiet victories that shape an unstoppable mind. Every act of persistence is a contract with yourself, a promise that you are someone who follows through. Over time, this consistency builds something more powerful than talent or luck. It builds self-trust. And self-trust is the foundation of unshakable belief. Failure is not the enemy. Stagnation is. Thomas Edison famously failed over 10,000 times before inventing the light bulb. But was it failure, or was it simply 10,000 steps toward success? Every attempt was a lesson. Every setback, a refinement. The people who achieve the impossible are not those who never fall. They are the ones who refuse to stay down. This is the truth. You are not judged by how many times you stumble, but by how many times you rise. Resilience isn't built in moments of ease. It is forged in the fire of struggle. Every time you push through difficulty, every time you act despite uncertainty, you are reinforcing your identity as someone who does not quit. And that identity becomes the foundation of everything you accomplish. Make this a rule. No 0 days. Even on your worst days, do something, anything that moves you forward. Write one sentence, read one page, take one step. Small actions create momentum, and momentum fuels progress. And once you are in motion, hesitation loses its grip. Because action is the antidote to self-doubt. The moment you stop waiting for the perfect time and start doing, you realize that progress is never about giant leaps. It's about relentless steps forward. But what happens when motivation fades? That's when discipline takes over. The greatest achievers in history were not fueled by constant enthusiasm, but by relentless consistency. They acted not just when they felt inspired, but because they made action a habit. Success is not a single choice. It is a system of choices repeated daily. When you wake up uninspired, act anyway. When energy is low, do something productive, even if it's minimal. One step forward, no matter how small, is still forward. Discipline compounds. Over time, small daily actions result in massive transformations. The more you stick to this discipline, the more natural success becomes, until effort is no longer a struggle, but simply a way of life. When discipline becomes your default, progress becomes inevitable. Success stops being something you chase and starts being something you create. 4. Overcoming fear and resistance, mastering the unseen enemy. Fear is a master illusionist. It masquerades as logic, whispering warnings of failure, rejection, and humiliation. It claims to protect you, but in truth, it only restricts you. It builds walls where none exist, turning hesitation into habit and comfort into a prison. But the Stoics knew better. If it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it. And fear is rarely true. It fabricates limitations, convincing you that you are not ready, not capable, not enough. It magnifies risk, making uncertainty feel like danger when, in reality, it is simply unexplored potential. Imagine two wolves fighting within you. One represents fear, hesitation, self-doubt, worst-case scenarios. The other represents courage, action, resilience, and faith in yourself. Which one wins? The one you feed. Every time you act despite fear, you feed courage. Every time you lean into discomfort instead of retreating, you strengthen your resilience. Fear shrinks when confronted, but it thrives when avoided. The more you challenge it, the weaker it becomes. Fear's greatest trick, disguising itself as logic. Fear rarely announces itself outright. Instead, it presents seemingly rational arguments. Wait until you're ready. Now isn't the right time. You'll fail if you try. But ask yourself, has playing it safe ever led to extraordinary results? Every successful person has faced fear and acted anyway. The difference between those who succeed and those who don't isn't the absence of fear, it's the refusal to let fear dictate their choices. Reframing fear. From roadblock to fuel. Fear is nothing more than energy, misdirected energy. Instead of asking, "What if I fail?" ask, "What if I succeed beyond my wildest dreams?" Shift your focus. Fear fixates on worst-case scenarios, but courage imagines the best. A powerful way to rewire your response to fear is through exposure. The more you face what you fear, the less intimidating it becomes. Afraid of public speaking? Start by speaking in small groups. Fearful of rejection? Ask for something small from a stranger and work your way up. Afraid of failure? Do it anyway, knowing that failure is not an endpoint, but a lesson in disguise. The Stoics saw failure not as defeat, but as refinement. Every stumble is an opportunity to rise stronger, more prepared, and more resilient. Fear thrives in avoidance, but courage grows in action. Make it a habit to challenge yourself daily. Speak up in meetings. Introduce yourself to someone new. Take on a responsibility that intimidates you. The discomfort you feel is not a sign to stop. It is proof that you are expanding. Fear will never disappear entirely, but its grip weakens when you repeatedly push beyond it. Soon, nothing will feel impossible, because you will have proven to yourself that fear was never the true obstacle, your hesitation was. And when fear arises again, as it inevitably will, you will meet it with certainty, knowing that you have already conquered greater obstacles before. Fear is not to be avoided, but mastered. The greatest achievements in history were made by people who felt fear but acted anyway. The key is not to eliminate fear but to move forward despite it. Fear, when reframed, is a compass pointing toward growth. To truly master fear, change your relationship with failure. Failure is not the opposite of success, it is a necessary part of it. Every setback carries a lesson. What did you learn? What can you improve? How can you adapt? By embracing failure as feedback rather than defeat, you strip fear of its power. Uncertainty, the birthplace of opportunity. The unknown can be intimidating, but consider this: if every outcome in life was guaranteed, there would be no growth, no discovery, no excitement. The greatest rewards are found beyond certainty, in the places where you step forward despite not knowing exactly how things will unfold. Trust yourself. Even if you don't have all the answers now, you will find them along the way. Redirect focus. From fear to possibility. Your mind is incredibly powerful. What you focus on expands. Instead of fixating on barriers, focus on the pathways that courage can carve. Instead of anticipating failure, anticipate growth. Fear only has the power you give it. It may whisper doubts, but you have the final say. Choose belief, choose action. Choose to face fear head-on, knowing that every time you do, you take another step toward the strongest, most unstoppable version of yourself. 5. The mirror test, the only competition that matters. At the end of each day, there is only one person you must answer to, the person staring back at you in the mirror. Seneca once said, "Most powerful is he who has himself in his own power." Strength isn't found in wealth, status, or the opinions of others. It is found in the quiet certainty that you are in control of yourself, your actions, your discipline, your integrity. The real question is this: when you look in the mirror, do you respect the person you see? Self-respect isn't given, it's earned. It comes from keeping promises to yourself. If you say you'll wake up early, wake up. If you say you'll work out, work out. Every time you follow through, you reinforce belief in yourself. Every time you break a promise, you chip away at it. The world may not see the small wins, but you do. Your confidence is not built on external validation. It is built on the quiet victories you accumulate daily. It's not about proving something to the world. It's about proving to yourself that you can be trusted with your own ambitions. Self-reflection, the path to growth. Many people avoid the mirror, not because they fear their physical reflection, but because they fear confronting their own choices. They fear acknowledging where they hesitated, where they fell short, where they betrayed their own aspirations. But true growth demands honesty. Tonight, before you sleep, ask yourself, did I win today? If the answer is no, make tomorrow different. Success isn't about grand achievements. It's about showing up for yourself every single day. Small wins stack up, and the more often you succeed in the small things, the more confident you become in tackling the big ones. The mirror does not lie. It reflects your effort, your discipline, and your integrity. When you wake up, remind yourself that you have control over your actions. When you go to bed, evaluate how well you exercised that control. This practice turns progress into an intentional act rather than a passive hope. Integrity in action, strengthening the foundation of self-belief. Building self-respect is like building muscle. It requires consistent effort and repetition. Each time you set a goal and follow through, you add another layer of strength to your character. Each time you break a promise to yourself, you weaken your own foundation. This is why small daily wins matter. They create a domino effect that leads to bigger victories, reinforcing your confidence and sharpening your discipline. Just as muscles grow through resistance, so does your self-belief when tested. There will be days when you fail. That is inevitable. The mirror will show you your setbacks, but it will also show you your resilience. What matters is not perfection but persistence. If today was not a win, make tomorrow a comeback. Over time, the balance tilts in your favor, not because you never stumbled, but because you refused to stay down. The mirror test is not about vanity, it's about integrity. When you say you will do something and you follow through, you create an unshakable sense of self-trust. This trust is what allows you to take risks, push beyond limitations, and build unbreakable confidence. When you respect yourself, others naturally follow suit. The way you see yourself determines how the world sees you. Strength starts internally and radiates outward. Every morning, you have the chance to set a standard for yourself. Every night, you have the opportunity to evaluate if you met that standard. Hold yourself accountable because no one else will do it for you. In the end, the mirror reflects not just your image but the truth of who you are becoming. The final question: will you be proud of what you see? The version of you that succeeds isn't built in a single moment. It is forged through a series of choices, day after day. Every decision compounds, shaping your future whether you realize it or not. You versus you is the ultimate battle. Make sure that every time you face yourself, you can stand tall and say, "I gave it my all." Because at the end of the day, the person in the mirror is the only one who truly knows whether you tried, whether you pushed, and whether you honored your own potential. Make that reflection one you are proud of, every single day. In the end, the greatest war you will ever fight is not against the world, it is against yourself, against self-doubt, against fear, against hesitation. Every decision you make either strengthens or weakens your belief in yourself. Every small action is a vote for the person you are becoming. The path to self-mastery is not about waiting for confidence. It is about building it through relentless action. It is about embodying the identity of the person you aspire to be, not just when it's easy, but especially when it's hard. It is about pushing forward when fear whispers for you to stop, about choosing discipline when motivation fades, about keeping promises to yourself when no one else is watching. Self-belief is not found, it is forged. It is strengthened through adversity, tested in discomfort, and proven in persistence. The mirror will always reflect the truth. You cannot escape it, but you can change it. Every time you act with purpose, you redefine what is possible. Every time you silence doubt with action, you prove that you are greater than the obstacles in your way. So when you wake up tomorrow, ask yourself, who do I choose to be today? Will you let hesitation win, or will you take another step forward? Will you shrink back into old habits, or will you rise to meet your potential? Because at the end of the day, it has never been about anyone else. It has always been you versus you, and the moment you decide to win, everything changes. Now go, prove it.